Hey everybody, welcome back. Today is day 2 of our lesson 21 study. So yesterday we talked about high frequency words, and today we are going to learn our new spelling words. All right, so here we are. We are going to learn our new spelling words for lesson 21. All right, so all of our spelling words this week are going to have this letter pair, A, R together. And the sound of A and R together is R, R. So I want you to listen to a video about pirates because they say R. And you'll hear a lot of different words that have that vowel pair, or that letter pair rather, and make the sound R, okay? And then we'll get back to our spelling words. So enjoy the video and I'll see you in a minute.
There's lots of words with the A-R sound. If you want to hear them, gather round. Like barn, or yarn, or bark, or park. Like car, or star, or jar, or bar. There's lots of words with the A-R sound. If you want to hear them, gather round. Like dart, or cart, or tart, or chart. Like guitar, or jaguar, or tar, or far. A-R, A-R, A-R. There's lots of words with the A-R sound. If you want to hear them, gather round. Like harm, or alarm, or art, or smart. Like snarl, or Carl. Like yard, or card. Me pirate friends say, "Arr!"
All right, so did you hear all of those words with R? So remember, A-R together sounds like R. Unless, of course, we do have to mention this, unless there's a silent E after it, right? If there's a silent E, the E takes over and it changes the vowel sound. All right, so let's move on to our spelling words. The first one is far, far. Now you'll notice the AR, like I said, is in all of them, R. The next one is arm, arm. Next we have yard. Now the interesting thing about yard alone is this, right? And now a yard can also be, I should have put this on here, it could be a measurement, like a yard stick is a long ruler. That is a yard is a unit of measure. Just like an inch, a foot, a centimeter, there's a meter and there's a yard. So when you listen to, or if you ever watch football, all of those lines on the field mark how many yards the players have gone. Now, the interesting thing I was going to say about yard is that we're looking at this yard, right? This looks like somebody's backyard. If I were to write backyard, I would write that as a compound word, which we talked about last week. Backyard is a compound word. You could write it separately, but we usually write it, either way is okay, but it is mostly used as a compound word. But here's the interesting thing. If you want to write your front yard, it's not a compound word, ever. Front yard is always two separate words. Your front yard. Your side yard would also be two separate words, but your backyard we put together as a compound word. All right. Next we have art. Art. Then we have jar. Jar. Bar. Now I put a few different types of bar in here. There are more. This is a bar of chocolate or a chocolate bar. This type of bar is used in gymnastics. This is called the high bar. The next one is a bar graph. Bar graph. You've seen this in math. And this is a bar of gold. Now there are other bars like a bar of soap that I didn't put up here, but a bar of soap would be different. Liquid soap is the one that you pump. A bar of soap, which I don't think people use so much anymore. A bar of soap is the piece of soap. Next we have barn. So we just add an N to the last one and we get barn. Bark. Bark, we have two types. The bark of a dog or the dog barks. Now you can use that as a noun or a verb, right? The dog barks or the dog is barking, right? Or the dogs all bark. That's a verb. It's an action. They're doing something. They're barking. You can also say the dog's bark is very loud. That refers to it as the actual noise. The dog's bark is loud. And we also have the bark of a tree. So I reminded you all last week of the riddle that we did when we were together in school a few months ago, right? And the answer to the riddle was had something to do with this, the fact that there's two different ways to use bark. The dog's bark and the bark of a tree is almost like the skin of the tree, that outside part of the trunk. Card. We have a few types of cards. A playing card, a credit card. Here's a greeting card, right? Or a birthday card. Next we have, what is this? Yarn. Yarn. And yarn is one of those words that the singular and the plural is the same. We don't say yarns. We just say yarn because you can't count it. You can count the rolls of yarn or the balls of yarn, but you can't count the yarn itself. You can measure the yarn, but you can't actually count it. How would you count it, right? So with things that are not countable, the plural form we don't use the plural form because you can't count them. So yarn is tricky like that. We have not talked about that yet, but we will. When we're together in one of our meetings, we'll talk about that because it's pretty interesting. So yarn, what you can count is, like I said, the ball. So I could say there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 balls of yarn, but what I can count are the balls of yarn, right? Next we have smart. Smart, you are all very smart. And finally we have chart. Chart. So I put a few different types of charts here because I know that you've done these in math and Spanish, but you haven't, maybe you haven't heard them in English. So this is a bar chart, okay, just like we talked about before, or a bar graph. This one is a line chart or a line graph. You can use the word graph for chart as well in these cases. And this one is a pie chart or a pie graph. Okay, they're different ways of displaying and showing different measurements of things. And they all serve a different purpose. All right, so let's go over our spelling words again one more time. Please read them out loud with me. We have far, arm, yard, art, jar, bar, barn, bark, card, yarn, chart, ooh, I went out of order, and smart. That was different. Okay, Next, it is notebook time. So yesterday you did your high frequency words, right? On the left page, you are going to open back up to lesson 21 high frequency words that you did yesterday. Open up to that same page. And now on the right-hand side, so that you're looking at both at the same time, you will write your spelling words, okay? So you see where the arrow is, the green arrow? That way. You see where the green arrow is on the left? That's where you wrote your high frequency words yesterday. Today, please write the spelling words right next to it. Remember, please skip lines and write neatly. Okay, again, these are your spelling words that we just went over. I gave you all a copy of this so that you can post them by your work, where the more you see them, the more you will remember how to spell them. Just don't have them out when we do our spelling quizzes. Okay, after you are finished writing your spelling words in your notebook, you are going to do this worksheet. It says R controlled at the top. Sounds like, now everybody please look over here where my arrow is. Sounds like air in care. So remember we talked about if there's that E at the end, it does change the R sound to air. So we have care. Or sounds like R in car. So let's read through these very quickly. The first column, I'll go straight down, then I'll do the next column straight down. We're going to start over here. We have hard, dare, pair, tear, farm, smart, flare, bark, scar, wear, air, and scare. So you'll see that there are various ways of making the air sound, okay? Okay, when you are finished with that worksheet, please open your workbooks and do workbook page numbers 81, 87, and 90. They are all about R-controlled words, okay? All right, everybody, so you can get to work. Please write your spelling words, do the R-controlled worksheet, and then do your 3 workbook pages, okay? And I will see you tomorrow in our meeting. I will send a list of all of the things that you need to bring to our meeting so that when we get started, or so that when we meet, we can get started right away, okay? I will see everybody tomorrow. Bye-bye.